Hey kids, so this is lesson 8, level 7, choosing your own adventure by removing elements. So we're using the remove method, but what we're doing is we are kind of like removing them from one list if they're not in another list. Good thing to do, but there's kind of a special thing you have to do to make this work. So this is the one that Sam and I were working on in class on Thursday, this feedback analysis. So let's take a gander at this and see if we can figure out what is working or what is not working. So let me set my settings up a little bit larger so we can see this. So the idea is that this is the feedback messages. These are the relevant words, and we are wanting to remove words from here if they're not in this. So we want to keep the relevant words and remove the irrelevant words. And so it makes sense, but it's not working. So for example, we are looping through the feedback messages. That's the array list we want to remove elements from. We're starting at the right side and going to the left side. So starting at the larger indices and moving backwards. And then the relevant words, and I've tried this in a couple of different ways. I've actually used the enhanced for loop, like for each, uh, but we are just going through the relevant words. Does not matter. And if whatever feedback message is at index I, if that equals to the relevant word at index J, we are going to remove it. And then we're going to slide everything down in the feedback list. What's happening is when we run it, we get an out of bounds exception. And so what's happening is that these two things just don't work well together. If we have to remove something from a list, we kind of have to break it up and create another method, if you will, that will just kind of check if it's in the relative word list. So this is what we have to do. It sucks we have to do it this way, but this is what we have to do. So I'm going to make I'm going to just scoot down here a little bit, and I'm going to make a public uh, Boolean method that I will say is irrelevant. And it's going to take a string element, and this is going to be a word to check. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to loop through the relevant word list. So I'm looking for the string. So if the word in relevant words, for each word in relevant for each word in relevant words, got it out, if the word is equal to the word to check, I'm going to return true. Else, I'm going to return false. What we're going to do is we're going to refer to this element. So what's happening is that we're missing words, or we're removing elements from an array list kind of in the middle of another list that's being iterated over, and that's causing problems. So now we go back up here, and I'm going to delete, I'm going to delete this stuff because everything else is okay. I'm going to loop through that list backwards, and then I'm going to take my word to check. I'm going to go, let's see, if is irrelevant. The word to check is my feedback messages dot get at I. And really it's the opposite, because if it's actually, I probably should have said is relevant, because if it's relevant, it's in the list, and that's what I'm checking for. If it's in the list, it's true. So I want to keep it. So I'm saying if it's not relevant, then I'm going to feedback messages dot remove the one at index I, which is the one I'm on. So this will end up working. So let's run this puppy. Well, it would work if I actually did it the right way. Feedback messages, I believe, is what it is. It's feedback messages, not feedback message. And of course, is relevant. And then up here, I've got the extra R. So slowly but surely removing all the spelling errors. So there you go. Those were the two words that were not in the list and they were removed. And that's all that's left is help and kind. So what was happening before is that we were removing elements from this list while the other list was still being iterated across. And that is what was causing the problems. So the strategy on these is you are going to have to create some sort of a little Boolean method. I think this is a perfect time to be doing this, because you're going to have to do something similar on the AP exam on the free response question. So you're going to create this extra Boolean method. You're going to refer to this Boolean method up here, and you're going to use that Boolean method to help you decide which word should be removed or not removed. So give this a try. We can talk about this in class when we get back on Tuesday.